tonight on Six Ed World.
Ladies and gents, we're back. Episode 2 of Six Ed Podcast. So we're back with the Salem witch trials. I hope that is to your fancy. I mean, it should be because you clicked on it. So anyways, before we get started, I just want to say that thank you so much to everyone who rated us 5 stars. Because guess what? We are on iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Like, that's so cool. So yeah, thank you to everyone who left us a, what is it called? Like a review? A rating, and they wrote stuff. So that was really sweet of everybody to take their time to do that. That helps a lot on iTunes, believe me. Oh yeah, huge shout out to Annie for helping me get on Spotify, bitch. We got
that girl hooks it up.
Yeah, for real. So if it wasn't for her, I swear, if it wasn't for her, we would not be on there, okay? For real.
We wouldn't.
So yeah, just search Six Dad Podcast on all those platforms to listen to us there. And if you're here on YouTube, thank you as well, because we reached over 2,000 subscribers. So
I know.
Thank you so much. I mean, on the first episode, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud, if you guys ever feel like putting a face to the voices, come on over to youtube.com/ what the fuck is it? Six Dad Podcast.
No idea.
Yeah. So yeah, and now onto the subject at hand, Salem witch trials. Yeah. I want to start off with a couple little tidbits. So the movie Hocus Pocus, very loosely based on the trials, but that is a movie I love. And this is a little tidbit. They released the movie in July of all months, July of 1993, and it was a flop. Did you know that the movie was a flop? I thought it was a fucking hit. Yeah, I thought that was a hit.
I thought so too. I mean, till this day they repeat it on Halloween, and I fucking watch it.
And that comes to my second tidbit of it, is that it only became a hit once they started airing it on ABC Family in the mid 90s. So a few years later they started airing it. And that's when it picked up. That's when I remember, I'm pretty sure that I saw it on TV somehow. My mom was not taking us to the movie theater. No, believe me.
Obviously we watched it.
The only movie we ever saw was Lion King, I think, in theaters.
That was the first movie I ever saw.
My cousin took us. Well, my cousin was way older than us, so.
Have you forgotten when my dad took us with our uncle to go see Titanic?
Oh, I know, but that was... that we were older then. I'm talking when we were little. But yeah.
I was 11, dude.
Okay, whatever. Anyways.
Having to fucking watch boobs in front of your uncle and your dad.
Okay,
that was so fucking
Salem
awkward.
witch trial. And also another movie that came out was The Crucible, but that was based on the book The Crucible from the 50s. But the movie came out in 1996 with Winona Ryder, and I love anything Winona Ryder's in, I'm pretty sure. And that was also a box office flop. So,
the one that
The Crucible.
Oh yeah, it was.
I liked it.
So did I.
Anyway, so yeah, that was a flop. But let's get to the real Salem, the real shit. Okay, so let's set the scene. Salem is located, it says here, in Essex County, Massachusetts, which is in New England.
I always thought it was up in Oregon because there's a Salem
Me
up there.
too. When I was not even that long ago, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I don't know, a decade ago, I thought, I'm Salem witch trials, West Side, But no, it's on the East Coast for in the USA, for you people that maybe if they're outside of the U.S., they don't know. Or like us, we were in the U.S. and we don't know. So it says here, much of the city's cultural identity reflects its role as the location of the infamous Salem witch trials. Police cars are adorned with witch logos. A public elementary school is known as Witchcraft Heights. And Salem High School athletic teams are named the Witches. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just a brief history on witches and how they were perceived back in the day. The persecution of witches, it had been on and popping in Europe for 300 years, like before the whole Salem witch trials happened. And it says here that 40 to 50,000 people were executed. And it was just all basically driven by religious folks and beliefs, if you know what I mean. The Bible says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live." I kind of don't know what that means, but with those words, all dumbasses across the globe took that as, permission to be serial killers, basically. They're just like, the Bible says, "Thou shalt not witch," or whatever. So they're just like, we gotta kill them. So,
and they were breaking all kinds of laws too.
Oh yeah,
that's not how they went forth with everything else. Like even back in that day, like the laws that they were making it be okay for someone to accuse somebody was not even lawful back then. But
they didn't give a fuck.
They were just, I don't know.
They just said, you know what? It says it in the Bible, so I can do whatever I want. It's just so corrupt over the ages, but that's just another podcast in its own.
Like, you don't even know, a fucking man probably was like, let's erase this and
a little
bit of that. Like, we don't even fucking know.
Like, the kings back then would be like, oh, well, I want, 3 hoes on the side, and I know it doesn't say that on the Bible, but you're gonna have to, put it in there for me. So, and then he'd make a whole new religion. So, whatever.
Just extremely hypocritical.
Yeah, so
what people pick and choose is a sin and not.
I'm just not a fan of the man-made.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on. Yeah. So, anyways.
Pigs.
In 1231. I mean, dude, what a year. 1231. I don't know. It's like, I've just never heard of 1231. Like,
what was happening in 1231?
Well, it all changed, it says, because the church got involved. That's when the witch crap, everyone just accepted witchcraft kind of thing, and they didn't care. But that's when it changed. But I'm just saying, I have never heard of somebody say back in 12 something. I don't know. It's just a weird year. It's a weird year. But that's when people got crazy. Back then, it was what? You did anything and you're just a witch. You sneezed the wrong way. Oh, she's a witch.
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with just even if say you didn't like your neighbor or something, or you didn't like somebody, you'd just be like, oh well, I'll accuse them and get them out of my way.
Yes.
Or a lot of times they'd be like, well shit, I should accuse them before they accuse me. A bunch of that type of stuff was going on. It was just so stupid.
Yeah. Look, if you looked at someone and they freaking tripped, witch!
Oh, yeah. They'd be like,
witch. Stupid shit like that. Other reasons why you might have been suspected of witchcraft are, if you had no children, not married or something like that, you're already, right there, I'm a witch already. But anyways, the family...
A house full of witches.
Yeah. But, if the family next door, if they can't get pregnant or whatever, and you're living next door, you childless, dry bitch, then they'd blame it on you, you're witching him, instead of him taking responsibility for his limp dick. I'm sorry. You probably just can't get her pregnant, but oh no, it's your fault.
Yeah.
That I can't impregnate my wife. Let me see.
Well, a lot of it had to do with because people that weren't in they were low-level citizens.
Yeah.
They would take advantage of them. They'd be an easy target to be like, oh, witch, and they knew nobody would defend them or anything. And the majority were women because it was Jesus Christ, I forgot.
I have this written in here, so it'll come up.
Yeah, it'll come up.
But
of course they would do that.
Of course,
blame the women.
if you were rebellious, if you had a turbulent reputation, that right there, you're a goner.
Shit.
You're a fucking witch.
Witch. Shit, bitch. Best believe I brought it up on that stage.
Yeah. But yeah, you'd
having none of me around.
You get killed for the most ridiculous things.
I would have already been killed like a million times. So would all the girls these days.
Yeah, for anything.
Yeah,
if you talked against a man, whoo, witch.
Oh, that would piss me off so bad. I'd have to become a career criminal, like a career murderer, man. I'd fucking kill all those bastards.
Allegedly.
Douchebags, motherfuckers.
So, pretty much if you were a woman and you existed, you're in danger of being accused. Yeah. But back then, they needed proof, okay? Like we said, this is like many hundreds of years before the witch trials, and at least they were decent enough. Like, they need proof, but it's like, proof? How do you prove it? Whatever. Anyways.
They had the dumbest things to prove.
So, how do you prove it? Okay, well, in 1486, a book called The Hammer of the Witches was published. It was basically a guidebook on what a witch was. You know, it showed you how to investigate if someone was, if you suspected of someone being a witch, how to judge cases. There was like rules. And in the book, it said, and I quote, "One sure sign of being a witch was the devil's mark." They had to have the devil's mark.
So if you have a third nipple, you would totally be a witch. I'm sorry.
Because if they called it the devil's mark, aka the witch's teat, right? That's what it said.
And they would poke at it.
Yeah, prod it. Like,
and if it didn't hurt, you were a witch.
Like,
which I'd be like, shit, even if it didn't hurt, I'd be like, ah! Oh, I'm sorry about that.
And that became, believe it or not, you'll believe it, a favorite pastime of perverts, because they would just accuse, like, say Giselle Bundchen walked by, ooh, I think she's a witch. So then they would have to inspect her whole naked body for the witch's teeth.
Animals since the beginning of fucking time.
So they had to see if they found the witch's teeth, and well, sorry, Giselle, there's no teeth there, but I'd sure got my eyeful. They would also torture them in all kinds of ungodly ways, to get like a confession. So, I mean, it's like, if you're being tortured, who the hell is not going to confess? It's just, the stupidity goes on. But fast forward to 1629, okay? And this is where the group of Puritans were sent over to Salem, Mass. They were sent over to create the perfect society, based on the teachings of the Bible. And there was, how we have today's separation of church and state or whatever. They didn't have that. They just, what could go wrong? It's just, but still, some people weren't religious at all. Some people just tagged along just because they didn't have like anything going for them in England, so they're like, fuck it, let me go to this new perfect utopia or whatever the fuck they were gonna do. And like, basically that's kind of one of the things that started it, because you had your really religious people and you had your people that just didn't care, so it kind of created like little conflict or whatever. They were just immigrating over, for new, better life. You hear that, racist people? You're immigrants too. Just saying, they're people immigrated over here for a better life. Does that sound familiar?
No, seriously.
Anyway, moving on. For the Puritans, witchcraft wasn't just some side thing, that they were like, witch. No, it was like part of the core of their like fears. So, they're just constantly vigilant, trying to just see if you were a witch or whatever. And it was just something that it's just created a lot of tension and anxieties. Satan to them was very like, it was just like a very real thing. It was, to them he was trying to fuck everything up constantly all the time. It's just that's something that kind of annoys me with people, like people that blame things on Satan. Like, no, you fucked up. Stop trying to blame poor old Satan. He gets the... What is it? He gets the bad end of the stick, or what do you say?
Bitch ass.
Yeah, it's just kind of annoying.
Do it yourself.
I know. With that whole environment, that's when they started again to do the whole witch hunt thing. Because the witch hunt shit kind of had just been outlawed or whatever in Europe. But they just started it again because it was just, they were just paranoid. And there were a few witch trials before the famous Salem one. 4 kids were supposedly possessed by Goodwife, this is her name, Goodwife Ann Glover, and the investigator for that case was Cotton Mather, not to be confused with Marshall Mathers, aka Eminem. He was a Puritan minister and an author, okay, and he wrote a book called Memorable Providences Related to Witchcraft and Possessions.
Yeah,
a mouthful.
That book is created a lot of a huge impact on what was to happen in Salem.
Yes,
Bastard.
they really took that book and ran with it. Side note, Cotton Mather was a slave owner, so thus making him a piece of shit. Just a little side note. So being a Puritan was really strict, and it was like a really hard way of life, especially for women. Puritan women were expected to, and I quote, be silent, docile helpmates to their husbands, and mothers to their children. Thoughts?
Go fuck yourself. I'll fucking
not be
put
silent.
rat poison in your motherfucking food, bitch.
Allegedly.
Motherfucker, that's slow, bitch.
So since they basically thought women were weaker or whatever, they believed that they were more likely to like dabble in witchcraft and devilish stuff or whatever. Yeah. So
because they have more time on their hands.
Yes, just they wanted to if a woman wanted to question things.
And it was just like they were supposed to be like sneaky and deviant. It's like, bitch, talk about your fucking self.
I know, fucking. They have like other families and shit, and they're just trying to act like they're innocent. All right, so in 1692, when the famous witch trials were going on, there were a total of 160 cases of someone being tried for witchcraft in 1 year. Just a year, 160 cases. And it all started when Reverend Samuel Parris and his wife, they, as a reverend, he had to go out, visit the members, of their parish or whatever you call it. They had to leave their daughter Elizabeth, who was 9. Isn't me. They leave me? And her cousin Abigail, age 11, with what was basically a babysitter named Tituba. But FYI, this was no teen babysitter, doing this in her free time. This was just basically a slave because
she was they said she was an Indian slave. She was a slave that came from Barbados. Since people from the Caribbean, is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that where they do Santeria and all that stuff?
Yeah, voodoo.
Yeah, voodoo stuff. And so she started showing the little girls stuff
and telling them stories, just kind
witchcraft,
of fantasy,
magic, voodoo and stuff.
Because there's nothing else to do. They had the whole night.
Yeah, and so she would just tell them stories around the fire, and they were young, but they could tell that
wasn't good.
It wasn't right. That
wasn't good.
I guess she one of the things she did is and this is very well known in the witchcraft
community
stuff.
I think it's a voodoo trick.
Yeah, they do a lot of cleansings with eggs, and they do a lot of stuff with eggs, and so she cracked an egg in the water, and the white of the egg, she made the girls look at it, and supposedly you could see the face of their future husband or whatever. So, it goes along the witchcrafty lines, so they could tell that it wasn't right, but they didn't say anything for a while.
So the girls kept all that stuff a secret for a little while, because they thought it was not good, so but it didn't last long, and they started telling other girls. 6 more girls to be exact, and they were between the ages of 12 and 20. The girls, they soon claimed that they felt like they were in a trance and said that they felt like they were being pricked with pins and cut with knives. And they said that they were tempted to throw themselves into the fire. And
they would just act like all erratically. In a way that a Christian girl lady should not be. They portraying themselves to be, and so they were like, okay, what the fuck is up with them?
They also claimed to want to cover their ears when the minister preached the word of God, but let's be real, like, it's probably just so boring that their natural instinct is just like they just want to block it out. But anyways, the girls then started to scream, cry out, and like throw things. As you can imagine, the Reverend's panties were in a complete and utter bunch. Yeah. I mean, he called like a physician, and his name was William Griggs. And the doctor, he said that there's no physical, like, what do you call it? Like, there's just no physical explanation of why they were doing this. So therefore, witchcraft, you know, so... and like his diagnosis was just, it wasn't questioned. It was just, oh, it's witchcraft. Okay. They took it as proof, you know, 100% truth. And then that's when the Reverend started to question the girls. And
he was asking them like relentlessly to the point where they finally gave up Tituba's name.
Yeah. Becky 1 and Becky 2 gave up Tituba's name. It's just a joke for white girls. Oh. Then these bitches accused Sarah Goode.
Yeah, because she was like the town beggar.
Her appearance was... No, go ahead.
They, as you can see, as we said, like they would target women that they knew they could get away with it.
Sarah Goode had a short temper, so that was to them like, you're a fucking witch, you know? I hope the good sis said fuck you and your motherfucking mama before they hanged her, because I mean, she had a temper. I'm like, I hope she went down in a blaze of glory. But anyways, that more about her later. More of what these pasty bitches did. Who else did they accuse?
Sarah Osborne.
Yeah, they had the
nerve.
nerve.
An old, crippled lady.
The nerve.
And she was already like tainted.
She was bedridden.
Yeah, but she was already tainted in the community because, oh hell no, she got married to her servant or her gardener? Something.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she was already like shunned by her village since she had married her servant or whatever, and her along with the second lady that got accused, Sarah Goode. They're both Sarahs. One's Goode and one's Osborne.
Yeah.
They neither of them went to church, so of course that was like a huge
no.
Yeah, to them.
In March 1st of 1692, the three women they were brought to some like ratchet, like wannabe, like pre-trial shit, just to see if there's any evidence or whatever that there was witchcraft. In Salem, they allowed a minister to be like an advisor in the court. I mean, can you imagine? Like, are you kidding? Imagine you're out doing shit, and then you're in court, and then the priest that you go to freaking church and is like helping in your case. Like, that's not professional.
No. So the first person that was interrogated was Sarah Goode, and she was accused by Ann Putman, I believe. Basically, like, the witch herself physically would not hurt the people in specification right now, the girls that were causing all these scenes. They would have something called a specter, which is basically like their spirit or their evil demon, and only they could see it. And so like if they were being like, oh, I'm getting pinched, like Sarah Goode's pinching me, it would be her specter, which it was her, but it was her invisible,
like almost like a
person.
Ghost, or I don't even know,
that would do this. And supposedly this Ann Putman girl said that Sarah Goode, that she had made her sign the devil's book. So that's how people started being accused of talking to the devil and casting spells. And that's how come nobody could see it. And that was their very great proof that they had, something that they can't even physically see or prove.
Yeah. Ann Putman, which you just mentioned, said, and I quote, I saw the apparition of Sarah Goode, which did torture me grievously. It's written weird, but it says, she did prick me and pinch me most grievously, and also since several times urging me vehemently to write in her book, the Devil's Book that she just mentioned.
Both Sarah's, they denied it, but the one that ended up admitting it was Tituba.
Yeah. Every time that they would, that Sarah or the Sarahs, whatever, the two Sarahs would deny the accusations, the girls would start screaming, said that Sarah Spector was attacking them in the courtroom. And that was taken as strong evidence. And that was just, I mean, it was just not done before, really. But they, in Salem, they were taking that as evidence. And so Tituba said, this is a quote, the devil came to me and bid me serve him. For 3 days, she told all kinds of crazy tales, you know, like she was talking to animals. They were doing night flights on broomsticks, and it says here spectral visits, and all kinds of shit. And she also said about the tall man. Did you read about the tall man? That a mysterious tall man from Boston told her to sign the Devil's Book in blood. And then about when asked how many names were in the book, she said there was 9. Her own name and who else?
Well, it was hers, both Sarah's and 6 more people.
Yeah, that she couldn't see, supposedly. She said she couldn't see, like.
And then
this sounds like the burn book from Mean Girls.
Yeah, so then that's when
they
like
panicked.
the Salem villagers, they started panicking because that's when it was like, oh my God, like there's more. And so now everybody's like watching their backs even more because they think there's all these witches around.
Yeah, just it put neighbor against neighbor. Yeah. Everyone was just like hella sus over every little thing that anyone did. It was just, everyone was just hyper aware. So yeah, the first batch of women, the Sarahs and all them, they were considered like low in society. Like they weren't like up there, right? But now when the hysteria hit, they were accusing everyone.
Everybody.
You know, respected members.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Even a 4-year-old girl.
Yes. Rebecca Nurse was one of the people, and when asked if she was guilty of the crime of witchcraft, she said, I am as innocent as the child unborn. And people signed petitions for this woman, putting their neck on the line for this woman, saying she is not a witch, she's a good woman. And, you know, that was just like a big deal. But this is when, what you said, the 4-year-old, the crazy bastards arrested. Was that her daughter? Yeah, the daughter of Sarah Goode. Okay, so on June 2nd, 1692, the Salem witch trials begin. And the first person to be called before the court was Brigitte Bishop. And this woman had been married several times. She was independent, you know, so you know what that means. She's a witch. So
you can't be smart and
yeah,
not be
no.
a witch.
How dare you?
You have to be getting those special gifts from an otherworldly thing.
No, yeah.
Women cannot be that smart.
No, and independent from a man? No. So they found her guilty, of course, and she was hanged 8 days later in Gallows Hill in Salem. So that was the first victim of the witch trials. So the girls back in court, they were still up, you know, to their same old dramatic shenanigans. Like if someone was like up on the stand and they would move their head one way, the girls would all move their head that way, or
and everything.
Just basically just doing weird crap, you know. So that would pressure the accused like person to confess, because the minute that they would confess, the girls would stop doing it. So basically, like, as soon as someone confesses to the Puritans, that's like you are immediately like put in the hands of God, and God, you know, it's up to God to forgive you. So they were just like, yeah, I'm a witch, like whatever, you know, just so they won't get like hanged and stuff. So that led to 55 of the 200 that were accused to confess, just as a way out, you know. Okay, so the girls' accusations, they started to get crazier, like not just accusing people in Salem, but they started accusing people outside, you know, in Boston and all everywhere.
So in 1692, 5 women were killed. One of them was Sarah Goode, the homeless lady that had a mouth on her, apparently.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite lady.
Well, she cursed
the judge
at the Judge Nicholas, that
right before she was hanged.
Yeah, basically, like as she's like walking to her death, and she tells him that if he took her life, that God would make him drink his own blood.
It says
God would give him blood. God would give him blood to drink, and
honestly, wig.
So apparently her curse, I guess, came true, since 25 years after that. That judge, when he was dying, actually ended up choking on his own blood. Which is kind of what she said, which is like, suck it, motherfucker.
Yeah, like, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the iconic Sarah Goode.
Bitch, I am a fucking witch and you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, just might as well go with it.
Seriously. Be like, mark my words.
You're gonna see
follow you everywhere you fucking go. I will make your life fucking hell.
Fucking make it, bitch. I wish I was there with popcorn or like a chicken leg or whatever they had.
Fucking
I don't know.
Hatchet fucking slice his head right off. I'm sorry.
Anyways, on August 9th, 5 more people, including Reverend George Burroughs, were put to death. But before he was hanged...
I thought it was George Reynolds.
I have Burroughs here. Either way, Burroughs, Reynolds, something like that. But before he was hanged, he recited the, like, Lord's Prayer. What is the Lord's Prayer?
I don't know.
Dios te salve Maria. I don't know.
You had to like
it's long.
Pray and shit.
It's long as hell, and he said it word for word, but witches like weren't supposedly able to be able to say all that, but he said it.
So that started putting like doubt into people's minds, like oh my god, fuck, did we just like fuck up?
Yeah,
and, like,
did we go a little too crazy?
Like, oops.
Their pitchforks.
They got a little too lit there, guys.
Yeah.
After you killed a bunch of fucking people, they're like, oh shit, but they're not supposed to be able to recite that, and he did.
Yeah.
So
why'd they hang him then, right there?
Seriously,
they should have been like, wait, he gets a retrial or whatever.
I know.
But even still, after after they had doubts about that. On September 22nd, another 8 people were hanged, and they were actually the last people to die, but it wasn't, it was not over yet. Was it 24 more?
It's over 200 people were accused, but 24 were killed.
And contrary to popular belief, no one was burned at the stake. Yeah, that's kind of like a legend or myth.
I mean, in other places,
but not there.
Not in Salem.
That was outlawed even in Europe hundreds of years ago. They did do it, but then they outlawed it. And one man in Salem was pressed to death with heavy boulders. So that's very godly of them, I think. I know. That's very Christian.
He kept saying that he wasn't gonna say yes or no,
and he's just like more,
and then put more rocks
I feel like that's how you would go out.
Fuck
more, motherfucker. And that's how that man died. But the rest just because
they couldn't hang him if they didn't admit. So he was like not admitting.
Yeah, he was trying to like. Maybe not find a loophole, but he was just trying to like not say this or that. I don't know.
Put a stance or something.
So in the fall of 1692, that's when the people's opinion started to change, because the girls were just telling crazier tales, just bigger lies. So, yeah, even the dumbest person was like, wait a minute. This doesn't sound right, you know? So what happened? They accused all kinds of fucking people.
Yeah, they started accusing, like, really high-ranking people, like the wives of, like, high-ranking
of
men.
the judges.
Oh, yeah, that's when they stepped
and the reverend.
That's when the motherfuckers step the fuck in and are like, whoa.
All of a
Ladies,
sudden.
control yourself.
I can't, I'm sorry.
This is not of God.
A bit, all of a sudden they had
all
gone
of a
too
sudden,
far.
The girls have gone too far.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do because of the fact that it was about your wife now, was it?
Anyways. Spectral evidence was
all
of a sudden, that's wild.
No, they're like,
girls.
No, that's not
Pinocchio knows.
But I mean, at least they finally met some resistance.
Right, at least. Look.
It was taken to a superior court, all of this that was going on, so that those little girls could shut it.
So after that little incident, 49 of the 52 people that were accused, they were acquitted and released from prison.
Yeah.
Do you have about Tituba or about what happened to her, or should I say it? Or
I mean, she was sold back into slavery.
Yeah, and that was to pay for her expenses. Yeah. Like, that is so nice of them. Seriously. I mean, that's noble. Seriously, wow. And then 5 years went by before the Salem community finally realized their dumb fuck mistakes. And on January 16th, 1697, a day of public fasting was held.
The nerve.
Was held at Salem, and it was to ask for God's forgiveness for their past sins. Like, I'm sorry.
Like, shut the fuck up. You're too fucking get the fuck out of here. Like, you just murdered my mom, you stupid steak ass motherfucking bitch.
For real. I'm sorry, but not eating.
I'd be like, shove your fasting up your dumb fuck ass, you fucking bitch. You killed my mom and you were wrong. Just because your stupid specter can shove it.
I think about it, like, not eating unseasoned chicken for a day is actually a blessing in my book, but
it's like, oh,
whatever's going to fix what you did, Nancy.
They're fasting, Elizabeth. Oh,
yeah.
I made a mistake.
So, check this out. The judge and all the people that had accused everyone of witchcraft signed a petition of repentance. Keep your doodle, Picasso. You know what I mean? What's that gonna do? Seriously, they think all these things are gonna fix it? Whatever. And then they go even further. In 1702, the Reverend published a public apology in a book. Like, chill, Stephen King.
I guess the only girl that ever apologized was Ann Putman. The rest did not even bother.
Yeah, that's Ann Putman is one of the girls that was telling wild, crazy shit stories.
Wow.
Copyright? You said it just like Rihanna. We're gonna get copyrighted. Oh God. So, but hey,
those girls were getting down in their time.
Dude, we're in a past life. Were you a part of that circle?
Bitch, best believe.
You bitch. But even then,
I would have been one of the witches.
I know. No, yeah. So, but even then, the what's her name? Ann Putman. She blamed the devil. Like, okay, blaming it on Satan is not an apology. So she's canceled.
True.
In 1711, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts reversed some of the verdicts. Like, they're dead. You killed them.
I know.
Stuff your verdict up your ass, Bartholomew. It took until 1957, okay, for the guilty sentences on all the people who were accused to be reversed.
I thought it was
reverse
the
this.
9 remaining people, but it doesn't matter.
What?
It was the last 9 remaining people that either didn't get killed or didn't get freed.
Well, basically, but all of them finally got the reversal. Like, wow.
Yeah, so basically, like, neither the an exoneration or the public apology could erase everything they just fucking did. None of that's gonna fucking erase all that shit. Everybody just questions why the girls did that.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Tell us in the comments. That's always fun to hear from smarter people than us.
Make that up like they were just
Did
like
they
little
make
girl.
it up? Were they really sick? Because I mean, you never know in this world. There's a lot of crazy shit, but I don't think so.
Yeah, because if you even Ann Putman apologized, means you did something wrong somewhere along the freaking lines. But I mean, I guess America could take one thing from it, and it's just that from that experience with the Salem witch trials, they like changed the like judicial system and made sure that you could never just like point the finger
and blame a ghost or whatever.
and also like, you know, the whole like instead of guilty before proven innocent, it's innocent before proven guilty, which doesn't always happen even in this day.
Yeah, that's a crock. So that is it on the witch trials. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, so see you on the other side, weirdos. That was so stupid. Is there a way of saying it natural?
So basically, see you guys on the other side, weirdos.
Okay.